I'm rolling.
So, Corinne, tell us about your wearable art that's made out of recycled bottle caps and plastic containers.
So basically, in the process of doing this zero waste project, I made bottle cap necklaces a few years ago because I was working with the artist Shrine, who we shot at his house at the zero waste photo shoot. And he's the one that inspired me to start thinking about trash as an art material, because we were at a festival in Ireland and he was like, we had finished the project and he just gave me a pile of bottle caps and different trash. He was like, here, make something. And I was like, okay. And I had just kind of been observing him and how he manipulated the different things. And so just using a hammer and a nail or a drill, you can pretty much turn anything into a bead or a button. And so what I do is like put a hole in everything. And then this is the most fun part, is you just stack up different colors. Like you can see down here, maybe get a shot of all this trash. And this is just what I have left. I mean, this is like, it's not all my trash, but it is, you know, organized extremely well in different categories. And so in the process of doing that, this is just, you know, me and Morgan's trash for a couple of years, or for a year, but it's not even everything. So the idea is that by keeping your trash and looking at it, and then being like, okay, well, what creative thing can I do with it? So a couple of years ago, when I first started doing it, I made these pieces, which were, after I used up all the fun, colorful stuff. Oh yeah, here's my toilet paper rolls for the year.
Wow.
I just have it all out because I'm like, I just want to see it. I want to confront it, and I want to be like, this is me. This is a part of me. Like, I created this.
It's your waste.
Yeah, it's my waste. And I think that so many people are, they're just like, oh, well, some company made it and I used it and that's not my problem anymore because I'm done with it and I didn't make it. It's like, but you did buy it. So, you know, toilet paper is one of those things that until they invent refillable toilet roll paper thing, at least it's made out of, hopefully unbleached cardboard.
Right.
So this was like all plastic water bottle tops.
Beautiful.
This was all kombucha lids. And so these are obviously more like big and sculptural, but I still would wear them.
Yeah.
For fashion.
How easy is it to drill holes? Do you have like
It's a huge pain in the ass.
a drill?
No, I don't have a special drill. It's just like you have to do each one at a time.
Right.
You have to like put one cap down, drill it, move it, put one cap down. That's why this takes so long.
Right.
Because it's just like, it's very time consuming. Just because it's trash and just because I didn't pay for it, even though you do pay for it, because when you buy products you pay for it. Turning it into something usable, there is a step involved. But, I mean, that's fine to me. So let me just show you a couple more things. I started out, this was probably one of my first necklaces that I made a few years ago. It's tighter and smaller, but you know me, I like to just get crazier and crazier over time. So, you know, then I started adding on these kind of like stacked lid things, doing different shapes, adding different pieces I had around. Necklaces you can take apart and, you know, put them in a thing and then use them for something else. So it's really whatever comes to you and whatever thing you can see potential in. For me, I just happen to have the experience of working with Shrine and seeing how he used those materials. And then if we go this way, I can show you guys the altar that I made out of all my stuff. So this is essentially like, not all of the trash for a year, but this is definitely all mine. Like in the bottle caps, I don't really make this kind of trash personally because I don't drink these kind of drinks that create these bottle caps. So I have people save them for me. But this is me. Like I take full responsibility for the fact that, well, some of the cans are my partners, but whatever, we live together. And you know, so there's like cheese, domas, shampoo, cans, sushi, like all these different things that we use.
What's going to happen with the altar after the event? Are you going to keep it here?
Well, I designed it so that it can fit outside in between these two windows out here. It comes apart really easily. It's just built out of old shelves. So this whole part comes off. And these are drawers actually. So I was thinking about using it for my altar and actually like keeping things like extra candles and stuff in it. Because the idea, well, it's not put together quite yet, but that there would be, oh yeah, there's some lighters in here.
Oh, that's cool.
Different disposable lighters. I mean, there's so many things you can switch, you know what I mean? Like for plastic water bottles, you can get a reusable one. For a lighter, they do make refillable lighters. So, you know, this is, like I said, my apology letter to the earth. And I don't know where it's gonna go. Here somewhere. So I just want to show you guys my cooking situation. So the process of going zero waste, the hardest part is food. Because it's easy to be like, okay, I'm not gonna buy fast fashion, I'm gonna get things at the thrift store. But with food, you have to find bulk for everything. So, you know, part of the whole process, it's important to be non-judgmental with yourself as well, because it is a process and it does take time. It's not like, unless you were rich, you can't just wake up one day and be zero waste, because you're like, well, I bought all this food, I'm gonna use it. The important thing is not to throw anything away. Like, don't waste it, like, oh, it's in a plastic container, I have to throw it away. It's like, no, use it, recycle the plastic container, clean it, because things get recycled easier when they're actually clean. So take responsibility, clean your container, put it in the recycling bin, or if you want to reuse it, reuse it. I mean, I personally am going towards glass instead of plastic, but if you have this container, you can take a peanut butter container back to a place like Whole Foods, Sprouts, whatever. A lot of people have the peanut butter refill. So then you can just refill your container and it already says peanut butter. So that's your option as well. This, for example, like tahini, it only has one ingredient. So I could probably make that myself. You know, they're just little things like that. But generally, you know, oils can be refilled. Vanilla extract, though, you know, that's just one that I don't think you can buy bulk vanilla extract at this stage in the game, at least not that I know. But I can use this glass container afterwards to put spices or any kind of different thing I want. So, you know, we're still in the system. There still are certain things that come in a package that you can get in the bulk section. And also, like, you gotta live, and we live in a city, so you can't, you know, like, cripple yourself. I mean, you can if you want to take it seriously, but I just want to let people know that, like, this is what it can look like. And notice how all these containers are all different. Like, this used to be salsa. This I bought at the co-op 10 years ago. That was, like, some pickled thing my partner bought, you know? But it's like, this was pickles, but now it has bulk salt. So you just do what you can. And then, you know, as far as like leftovers, we put in these things, which are glass and they're made in the USA. And then extra jars, you know, you just cycle through them. And I just, you know, am punk rock and like a label maker, but you can label things or not.
You label things and you put the weight of them at the bottom of the jar.
Yes, okay, sorry, key point. So when you're going to the grocery store, a lot of times people are like, but they charge you for the glass jar. It's like, no, they don't. So all you have to do is, when you bring your jars, again, I have a label maker, but you could do it with a piece of paper. A label maker to me is like, now this is done, I can wash it, dry it, and it doesn't really come off. I mean, I can peel it off, but the idea is you get it's called the tare weight, T-A-R-E, I believe. And they weigh the jar, they say, okay, it weighs 0.62 pounds. So you write that down, and then when they weigh this, they're like, oh, this weighs 3 pounds minus 0.62, and then they only charge you for the actual weight of the thing. So if you don't weigh it in advance, that is
a good preparation.
Your own fault.
Yeah.
So, and then this is like even more in transition because there's a lot more things that need to be used up. But so essentially what we have in our transitional kitchen now is, you know, for example, we went out and got pizza last night. Well, I have my own container. Instead of getting a to-go box, I like wrapped it up in the paper and then came home and put it in glass. With eggs, we're not vegan yet, maybe someday, but right now we still have some stuff, but it's like you can at least buy eggs in a paper disposable, compostable container as opposed to a plastic container.
Right.
And then, yeah, like for example, we went and got mushrooms in bulk in the bulk section, and I put it in a jar.
Right.
Because they didn't have nut mix, so I was like, fuck it. And then, yeah, you know, I just get vintage strainers and fill it with produce. This is from the farm box. We get greens. And then we make our own hemp milk now using hemp seeds and the blender in a little strainer bag. So, you know, make our own milk.
Yeah.
And then to break my sugar addiction and because I just love delicious beverages, as you can tell by the altar. Lots of delicious beverages on there. Now what I do is I just cut up half a cucumber, soak it in water overnight, and now it's like this cold, tasty beverage that costs me probably about 10 cents a serving. And creates no trash.
Beautiful. And no sugar, right?
And no sugar, no nothing. And then this is something, my first experiment in chia pudding. So this is just like cocoa, coconut milk, chia seeds, soak it overnight, blend it. And I didn't put any sugar in it. And it's delicious. So, you know, these things all take time, but it's kind of like, when I think about time and money, it's like, would I rather have more time or more money? I mean, how do I even explain this? I could spend my time working to make more money to be able to buy these disposable products that are also full of sugar and preservatives. Or I could work less, have more time in the kitchen, spend less money on food, have less of an environmental impact, and make most of the food that I eat. You know, for me, as a self-employed artist who has a partner that's also a self-employed artist, we make our own hours. Like, I completely acknowledge my privilege to be able to even have access to a kitchen with another person who's down to live a zero-waste lifestyle and who's down to make food and is an amazing cook. Not everyone has that. So that's why, you know, you got to do what you can personally do and work towards it. I'm also obviously extremely dedicated to this because I'm doing this project, and that's just the place I'm at in my life. So I just want to share with people. And then the last thing I want to share about is clothing. So previously I had a garment rack here with all the stuff. It was like overflowing. I had like 3 things on every hanger. And I was like, you know, the book, The Magical Art of Tidying Up, or The Life-Changing Magic, she talks about folding your clothes. And I was always like, this bitch is crazy. That is going to take too long. Like, how are you going to know what you have? And so I was like, whatever, Marie Kondo. Like, I like your book, but that's crazy. And so I folded some things. And this was years. I read this book years ago. I helped people clean their closets, all this. And then in the process of doing the zero waste thing, I was like, I must get rid of it, and I must fold my clothes, because I could see my clothes, they were getting dusty, they were getting faded. It's LA, it's dirty. I was like, I love these clothes, I want to have them for the rest of my life, but like, again, I'm like, sustainability, I'm like, this is not sustainable. These clothes are gonna be faded and fucked up. And so, but it was already the beginning of the year, and I said I couldn't buy anything, so I was like, fuck, I need a dresser, but I can't buy it, because I can't buy anything. And so I was like, okay, well, I have to get on the free page. And so I spent about 2 days looking on the free page, and then got this free dresser right down the street. And this is how I do my clothes now. So I just fold everything, and then I can see everything. So I have underwear drawer, shirt drawer, sock drawer, and I have a lot of clothes because I'm into fashion. You know, most people will be able to fit everything in one drawer. But I can look at everything at a glance. Everything is hidden from the sun. It's protected. It's folded. It's good. Right. And then, you know, the shoes are protected, and I can actually see what I have, as opposed to, like, you know, most people's closets that are like tumbling in with shit that they don't wear, and it's like stacked up and it's dirty. And I was just like, to myself, I was like, okay, Corinne, are you committed to these clothes? And I went through and I just like got rid of things, and I cleaned things, and I was just like, what do you really want? Took everything off my walls, and just kind of had a moment of like, you know, what's important to you, what are your wants and needs, and what kind of person do you want to be, what kind of life do you want to have. And so, you know, okay, one more thing about Hey, Morgan, would you mind pausing this for one moment before we talk in here? So, the bathroom, you know, for my period, I use cloth pads.
Nice.
And so then I just have a little clip, and I rinse them off and soak them, and so I don't create waste with tampons or pads. And then, so this is very in transition. There's a lot of stuff in here that isn't mine. And, you know, if you have a zero waste lifestyle and you have roommates, that's just part of it, is that, and whatever, like these things need to get used up and they won't probably get repurchased, but we're going to use them up before we throw them away. But this is kind of more like the goal shelf. So this is coconut oil, and obviously we won't buy plastic individual toothpick things anymore, but or these, because they do make like reusable ear cleaners that you can get. But for now, it's like we at least use the things that we can as long as we can. And then, you know, Lush is a great company because you can bring these back and they clean them and reuse them. So there are different, and they're really good handmade products. So it's like, a little bit of money you spend more if you can afford it. I just use less, and so I like savor what I do have, and then I buy from companies I know that like they're not just gonna throw it away. So and then sometimes, you know, like this lotion was a gift, and it's a nice thing, but it's like, would I buy this thing in a plastic container? Me personally, no, but I am gonna use it and have it, and then maybe I'll use the pump. Maybe I'll make my own thing, and I'll use this pump container. So you know, there's just a lot of things that can be done that they just take time. So that's just my own personal thing and what I've done to simplify and just get rid of stuff, because I feel like the less clutter I had, the less labels. I took the packaging off of everything. I don't want branding. I just want to have my own me in my mind and my own thoughts, and like whole foods, not the company, but real healthy food that is not going to hurt or poison me or anyone else in the process of the manufacturing, or, you know, think about the people that have to work in those recycling places and break down the plastic. I don't want to poison anyone in the process of my choices.
Right. Great.
Totally. Awesome.
Thanks.
Closing remarks?
Closing remarks.
Is this it?
Party. Do we have the information about the party on this camera?
No, go ahead.
Zero Waste is happening this Saturday, so 2 days from now at PS Kaufman. And yeah, from 2 until 10. It's right after Women's March, so
Come join us.
Come learn about zero waste. We won't judge you. Please don't bring a plastic bottle, but if you do, that's okay. But, you know, it's just the idea that we're all coming together and learning and sharing, because there's a lot I need to learn, but there's also a lot I have to offer. And so people are at different places on their journey, and there's always going to be people at different places on the journey. You know, who knows in our lifetime if we will eliminate single-use plastic. I would hope so, but I don't know. And all I can do is my own part and do my best to like influence and support people around me, because I can't change the world me personally, and I'm not going to be up at night. You know, it's hard enough to go into a grocery store now and be like, everything is packaged, you know, and then just see all these people shopping, and I'm just like, but that's life. Think about the people that have been doing this shit for years, you know. I did not invent this. I'm not the last person, you know, like to do it. And so come to the party, learn, and if you can't come to the party, literally just look up zero waste on the internet and all your answers will be there.
Or go on iDream TV Facebook. We'll be streaming live.
That's right.
Exactly. Cool.
Spread the knowledge.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, we love you.
Free to the bathroom.
Yes. Always the best.